and Mali, and then wrapping things up tonight will be Tunisia and Morocco. But first, it's all about Egypt and Zimbabwe. I'm joined by Lloyd Gardner. I'm Jeff Taylor, and we are going to bring you all the action once again. And Lloyd, I guess we're halfway through this tournament, and now it gets really serious because there's no margin for error for any of these teams.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it, Jeff? You know, this has been the warm-up to this stage, really, and Egypt, more than anybody know, how important it is come the knockout stages. 2 years ago in 2013, they went through their group without a win. They were 0-3. They were sitting, a team that really looked like they were going to be going out. They were facing the might of Tunisia, the current champions. They turned it around, took the victory, then really went on a magical run, reaching the final and qualification to 2014 World Cup. So they, more than anybody, should know how important it is to prepare and be ready for the opposition, no matter who it is. Now, Zimbabwe come in with a difficult record. They haven't played exceptionally well for 40 minutes, but we have seen positive signs from them, haven't we? Even though they are 0-3, they have a star in Chikoko on the inside, and I think, they are a dangerous team, and Egypt will very much know that.
Yeah, if anything, Zimbabwe really did improve in this tournament, and they showed themselves against Cape Verde yesterday they've revealed themselves to have taken a few extra steps forward. They were dangerous. They ended up losing that game by 11 points. Cape Verde unbeaten in this tournament, but they played fast, they played smart at times, and they've grown. And that's the thing, they've evolved into a competitive team. So Egypt, having experienced it themselves, the 0-3 start, they know that you can't take anything for granted. So the good news is that Tawanda Chitsinde seems to be okay, and he'll be playing. He's appeared to sprain his ankle yesterday and went out of the game, and then returned. And also we saw an emergence of Simbarashe Mungomezi, number 6. And we saw the surprise package of Neville Shivanganye come in and make some big plays for them, Tatinda Maturori as well. So a lot of talent in that Zimbabwe team. For Egypt, they still have some players left over from 2 years ago as well as last year that played at the World Cup. Experience is a big factor, but it is not always the most important factor. So it's all about Zimbabwe and Egypt, and we are about to have the playing of the national anthems. As Asim Marai, you see there, the star for Egypt a couple of years ago, and Omar Orabi, the last of the Egyptian players to run onto the court. So we're going to pause in the commentary and listen to the national anthems for both of these teams.
Et maintenant, l'hymne national de l'Égypte. match qui va être arbitré par Monsieur Martino Paulo, Capoverde, Comangelo Arno, Cameroon, et Youssef Sofiane from Algeria.
Well, the national anthems have been played. Zimbabwe in the green and yellow, and Egypt, the Pharaohs, in red and white. And the referees for today's game will be Paulo Martinho of Cape Verde, Arno Comangelo of Cameroon, and from Algeria, Sofiane C. Youssef. So, the Algerian referee on the far left. We're going to take a look at the rosters for both of these teams. And for Zimbabwe, Tawanda Chetsindi has been starting at point guard. We talked about his ankle problem. Mungomezi, number 6, brought a lot of energy yesterday, played a lot of minutes. Eric Banda was solid underneath the basket. Duncan Shinje came in, brought a little bit of perimeter game. Pretty much everybody contributed. So today's starting lineup, well, we don't have Chitsinde, at least in this graphic. It appears he's not going to start, but maybe he'll come off Tawanda Chitsinde. Instead, it's going to be Moses Mayambo in the starting 5. And maybe that foot problem is bothering him. We'll keep an eye on that, but he's out there in warm-ups. And for Egypt, Kamal Khalifa has started every day at center. He's solid. Pretty much all of those players, you know, are appearing for Ahmed Marai, the father of Asim Marai, number 50 there near the bottom of the roster. And Asim Marai, will he start today? Well, let's have a look. Indeed, it looks like he's still coming off, and kind of the forgotten man, it appears, Ali Ahmed on the far right is going to come back into the starting 5. Ahab Amin, Kamal Khalifa, Ibrahim El Gamal, and Ahmed Taufik in that starting 5. Lloyd, so.
Well, again, changes to the starting 5 for Egypt. They do like to mix it up, don't they? We've seen a different starting 5 each day, and they're going to go small up without Shusha.
So Shusha takes a seat, and players that we wanted to highlight were Marai and Chikoko.
Yeah, well, Mariah, we're wondering if this Egypt team, you know, they've gone deep into the bench, whether the rotation will shorten in this game, but Mariah against Chikoko will be a key matchup. You know, Chikoko's got to find a way to keep Mariah off the boards. He's got to rebound, and he has to stay out of foul trouble. Offensively, you know, Chikoko he's a role player, or has been a role player in his career in Italy up until this point. Spent time in Germany before that. You know, he has to develop into a star. You know, he has to be the go-to guy for Zimbabwe.
Well, we're just 30 minutes away from the start of this, and I have to be honest, coming you know, looking in the past, as we see Ahmed Marai, who actually was put in charge of Egypt just a couple of months ago. A few months ago, it was going to be Pep Claros, the Spaniard, and then they had a rethink and just decided they wanted someone, an Egyptian, to coach the team this year. And Ellery Pinkerton at the helm of Zimbabwe, making their debut at the AfroBasket. And as again, you know, they have taken those steps. Now you've got 2 phases of the tournament. You've got the opening phase, and then you've got the knockout phase. We've gone through the opening phase, and before arriving here, I was like, why would you have an opening phase where you don't eliminate anybody? But in all honesty, I quite like the setup. You know, the teams are allowed a chance to try to find their rhythm, try to grow a little bit, maybe their preparation. You know, it could be viewed as additional preparations, but also there is something at stake, and that is the order of finish, because depending on where you finish, that determines who you're going to play in the next round. So Egypt, because they finished first in their group, they are taking on Zimbabwe, who finished 4th in their group. But as 2 years ago showed, that didn't matter to Egypt, because they finished 4th without a win, and nevertheless still won their next game against Tunisia and used that as a launch pad to reach the final and qualify for the FIBA Basketball World Cup. So nobody will be taking anything for granted over there today on the Egyptian bench, at least if they're smart. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tunisia. It's the opening day of the round of 16. It's day 7 of this competition, and we are starting things off in this first knockout game. Egypt, who finished runners-up 2 years ago, to Angola, taking on debutantes out of AfroBasket, Zimbabwe. And the youngster, Ahmed Amin, immediately drives in and puts up a layup off the glass and in. Now Muyambo, who has replaced Chitsende in the starting lineup. Chitsende with an ankle problem. Well, the other Chitsende comes out and buries a three-pointer. How about that, Lloyd?
Did he hesitate?
And he did not hesitate.
I mean, he's the man who's caught the ball, looked around, tried to find somebody else to pass to before knocking down a few threes. Good start for Zimbabwe, but a positive start for the youngster as well. For Egypt, Amin.
Ali Ahmed almost flung the ball into the basket there, but he drew a foul.
Well, Ali Ahmed started the first game, picked up 2 quick whistles, played about 3 or 4 minutes, and then didn't really get to come back into the game, and then didn't play at all, I believe, in game 2. So interesting to see him in the starting spot once again. He brings great energy, though. Still young.
Play college basketball in America. There's a penetration and another drive from Amin.
Beautiful out-of-bounds play. Poor scouting from Zimbabwe. That's the same play that Egypt use over and over. They caught somebody on opening day, which you can expect without a scout. I haven't seen them play. You shouldn't let that breakdown happen.
And now the point guard dribbles it off of his foot and out of bounds.
Yeah, Muyambo's going to have a lot of work to do if Chitsende can't play big minutes, because Chitsende's been very good indeed for Zimbabwe. He's going to be their second best player.
Well, Khalifa catches it down low, and Chikoko gets the block, but a foul call before that. And I suppose the problem, if Chikoko does end up guarding Khalifa, is that he has to go outside, because Khalifa can't step outside, but this time Khalifa goes inside.
I mean, Chikoko's shown the ability to be able to guard the perimeter, no problem at all. We saw him guard, Cape Verde on the perimeter. He did a pretty good job on Almeida.
Just takes him away from the basket.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's not necessarily the issue of him guarding the perimeter. It's the fact that then he can't protect the ring to block shots, and he's out of position to rebound. Pamire on the bench at the moment. He may be a key for this Zimbabwe team as well. He's a bit of an X factor.
Up the pass inside, and it goes to Banda, and he is fouled as he goes up.
Excellent play against the pressure. Egypt, we saw in their first game against Gabon, just ran all over them with the pressure, didn't they? Excuse me, against Côte d'Ivoire, wasn't it? No, Gabon. They ran all over them with the pressure early, didn't they? Just got all up the floor. And that's what they're trying to do to Zimbabwe, but they've handled it well and scored against the pressure.
And we've also, I think probably Gabon are overmatched in this tournament, at least this summer. So maybe that result flattered Egypt a little bit. Free throw, second free throw, good. That's the first one. 5-4 Egypt on top here early on. El Gamal puts it up from three-point range and misses, and Ahmed able to get the rebound. Sometimes it helps to be taller than the guy that you're battling against. Now Khalifa puts up a 3. Chikoko came out and got a hand in the face, and Amin reached in, kept it alive. Now El Gamal takes another attempt, and he makes it. So you give a team 2 or 3 opportunities, and usually one of those shots is going to fall.
Absolutely. El Gamal has been very good indeed in this tournament. Much improved for me on 2013. Here he is again.
Chitsende careless with the ball. Now El Gamal. And Chikoko comes down with the rebound. A nice handoff inside, and it goes up. And this time, Eric Banda is able to get it up off the glass quickly and in. Zimbabwe looking good. I'm sure they've drawn some confidence from the performance yesterday. Amin, however, hits a three, and that's an area of the game that perhaps questions have been raised, at least before this tournament. He has hit a game-winning three, and now he's just hit a three there. Game-winning three against Cameroon. Penetration, drive.
Absolutely right. If you're going to ask the question marks on Amin, it is the three-point shot. Plays at Texas A&M Corpus Christi collegiate basketball. Just finished his freshman year. Still very young.
I don't think.
20 years of age. Finished his freshman year.
There you go. Lloyd and I were talking about what time players usually leave. It might be different for foreigners, but anyway, that is unresolved at this stage. If they're staying there that late, what are they doing? All right. Khalifa, bounce pass into Amin. Good!
And that's where he's good. You know, that sort of finish, getting to the ring, finishing in the paint for a little fella. You know, he's very creative and tough to guard off the dribble. It's 9 points for him already. Wow, what a start.
It was Maturere going that time. Thought he was going to pass it over to Banda. He's lucky to get the foul called because he was looking to force it.
It's really interesting to see the development of Ahab Amin over the tournament more than anything. We saw him get big minutes in a couple of games. He hit that big three, didn't he, against Cameroon to almost win them the game late on, and he seems to just be growing and growing in confidence. And I think Egypt will benefit at the later stages of this competition. And it's interesting to watch his development against, you know, someone like Abada from Tunisia, a very similar player. Whereas Abada's been in and out, hasn't really got those minutes in the early stages of the competition.
Although Abada did get crucial minutes against Nigeria.
Yeah.
And that'll be a confidence booster for him, you would imagine, later tonight.
Yep.
But Amin has been kind of one of the main weapons. All from the start. Now, Chikoko drives in. Looked like it might go down, but it came out. Khalifa hands it off to Amin, but Amin fumbles it. And Muyambo had a chance for the steal, but then he fumbled it.
I like the effort they get on the floor. Look at that. He was first man to it.
That's a foul, isn't it?
Yeah, quite possibly. You know, Ahmed did a good job to tie him up, really, and he might have got away with a foul, but
yeah, the only thing he missed, they did give him a steal. And they called the jump ball. Now, goes back for Egypt. Taufik. El Gamal, another three-pointer. And the lead has grown to 10 points, and it's the guards that are wreaking havoc right now against Zimbabwe, who are playing without Chitsende. And you cannot stand up once you go down. And really, I hate to say it, Lloyd, but the lack of not having, the inability to put Chitsende out there on the floor, they're going to bring Muyambo out and bring in Mungo Metsi.
And here comes Chitsende. He's been warming up this whole time. He isn't going to. He isn't 100%. I'm almost sure of it. But
I'm not saying it's all because of Muyambo that Egypt have a 10-point lead, but it hasn't helped. But I'm just curious why we didn't start with Mungo Metsi, because he was just terrific. But now he's in there, and I'd be surprised if he didn't play major minutes. He is on the ball right now. Watch how he plays. Oh, they find the back door. Just kind of snuck in there. And Amin is already in double digits. 11 points. Chitsende immediately puts up a three. And El Gamel has it, gets it to Ahmed, top of the key. And that's a break. That's a break for Zimbabwe, because really they haven't been able to control Amin and El Gamal. Sure, they want somebody else to put the ball up. Oh, beautiful pass inside and nice finish from Banda. So Chikoko showing an element of his game. Nice interior pass there. And Banda already with 5 points. Well, they surrounded Khalifa, and then Ahmed couldn't hold on to the ball. And Matorere comes away with the steal. Matorere goes baseline, goes up strong. Oh, beautiful move, but didn't finish. El Gamal now. And they're going to give him the continuation. The reverse. The Algerian referee.
Yeah, he might have picked it up, might have been in the motion, and we got a quick glance at Marai. Might not even need him today, the way Egypt have started this one.
It's 20-8, Egypt on top of Zimbabwe. Timeout. So Zimbabwe call a timeout.
Still no communication.
They haven't played horribly, but I think basically Egypt has come out really well prepared and knowing what they want to do. And they basically said, we're going to take Amin and just let him go after him.
He said Egypt having lost 2 years ago, I think they would have extra, having won 2 years ago at this stage, I think they'll have even more motivation right now to put in a good performance. And they really do look well prepared. I said to Coach Marai has got this group late, but you know, he's been a revelation for me. You know, very well coached indeed. He's gone deep into the bench. Nobody's played a lot of minutes so far in this tournament. He's smiling. Wow, they must be playing well. We haven't seen that. Usually he's all over his team, but for him to be having a smile, they must be doing pretty well.
And the advantage to having an Egyptian coach is that he can speak the language without question. I don't know how many foreign coaches will be able to speak. Well, they'll speak some French as well, and some players will speak English. I mean, you might have the odd player that speaks another language, Spanish, German, Russian, whatever, but the point of the matter is an Egyptian will be able to speak to an Egyptian easier. Although sometimes the way he looks, he feels like he's not getting his point across, and he's shouting at the players. So 21-8. Melt converted the three-point play, and Matorere being chased. That's a dangerous proposition. You know, if Egypt are going to chase Zimbabwe all over the floor, somebody should be open, especially if they're double teaming. And that was a tough shot. And the ball goes out of bounds. Khalifa was right in front of the hoop, and he was trying to pass it outside to Taufik.
I mean, Khalifa does have skills. We've seen him be a pretty good passer off the drive, but if I'm Zimbabwe, I'll accept that again. You know, I'll say, okay, take away the three for Khalifa, let him put it on the floor. And he's going to go out because of that, but still, it doesn't really hit the raff from Coach Marai. Orabi comes in.
Should be an interesting matchup with Chikoko and Orabi. On the plus side for Zimbabwe, they don't have any foul trouble yet. They have had some foul issues. Nice move inside. Bandits bringing it.
Yep. Oh, he played pretty well in the tournament. Almost, he's a bit up and down, but 7 points. I mean, where would they be without him?
Could be in the changing room, possibly. Yeah. Led them out. Now, Amin. Sunday, you can see he's starting to loosen up a little bit. Boy, that's a long three-pointer from Taufik. Where is that coming from? Why would he take that? Now, back over to Chitsinde. And Chikoko over to Mungo Metsi. Banda again. And perhaps not recognizing. I guess maybe he was just kind of feeling it out. Let's see what you can do, big fella. And Arabi is good enough to block those shots.
Oh, yeah.
Against the smaller players especially. Mariah will check in. Next dead ball. Oh. And it's not just the little players. That was a big-time block from Arabi. And the three-pointer from Amin, well, that's the play of the game right there. Arabi coming out and blocking Chikoko. He also had a little stare for him. And Chikoko now is going to be taking the challenge, but he's got to play within the team concept. And up to, and then he gets his own back. And that's a nice response from Zimbabwe. Okay, Egypt, let's be honest. We know they're a better team. They've got more experience, but you know, Zimbabwe aren't going to sit back and take it, are they?
Well, this is the first time really we've seen Zimbabwe put to the sword. Even though they've got an 0-3 record, they've been very competitive indeed.
Look at that.
Chikoko did an excellent job. I like Chikoko's attitude, though. You know, he didn't bat an eyelid when he got blocked. He's already got Arabi again. And they got him back on the other end.
And he also, at the other end, which you didn't see, he went up and shook his hand and told him that was a good block. Now, Arabi has gone down holding his knee, and that's not a good sight.
I think it's probably a contact injury.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That was Amin who fell into him. He will come out. And Mariah.
Mariah's in.
Yeah. So he'll have to come out, won't he? No, he's going to walk it off.
No one came on the court, so he can stay on if he's all right.
Is it better in that situation if it's not bad? I guess it is to kind of get it loose. Dr. Gardner. He has it bandaged, or he had not bandaged, but he has a what do you call it? A
support.
Support. Okay. Doctor. Okay. Now they're going to wipe it up. The moisture.
Yeah, he's got strapping on the knee already, but a lot of players nowadays will wear it. You're not sure of the medical impact of having it on.
He was a little bit slow getting into the lane that time for the rebound. Chikoko just went right in front of him, but have to watch Arabi. I'm sure Egypt will be monitoring it.
They've got a lot of depth on the inside.
Now here he is again, and he put the ball down. He was able to avoid the turnover. Good defense from Zimbabwe. And they've got to be alert to keeping Mariah off the glass, which is easier said than done. Now, Gennady has come in. Amin puts up a three. That was an air ball. Oh, Chitsundi does a little spin to get away from Amin. Boy, he's tough to shake off, isn't he? He's like one of these flies that's been buzzing around us. Matarelli at the line, well short.
Bad shot as well. It took it too early. A lot of opportunity for Egypt.
Yes, it is. Oh, and then coming from behind, Chikoko just took it right away from him at the end of the quarter. So Chikoko's doing a good job trying to keep this team in. Look at this play. (23-12). Egypt leads Zimbabwe after one.
Listen up, our offense, we've been still not pushing up, we're all over the place. Let's get into positions. Yeah?
6 of 11 for Egypt. Just 3 of 12 inside the arc.
You one side,
for Zimbabwe, also the three-pointers are falling for Egypt. They've got 3. They're winning the rebounding battle, but the block shot battle is all square at 2 apiece.
From both sides, if the ball goes on there, you've got to go for that pass there. And we've got to take it to them.
Zimbabwe also have not only Pasipamire to come in, but as we saw yesterday, Shivan Gagne, Neville Stephen Gagne, a veteran, 30 years
when
old.
Nyanga's pressuring the guy,
So he might figure into the mix here.
when he's pressuring the guy, we just deny the number 4. What number 4 is just doing is coming off the pick and he's going for the
Very
back toe.
impressive
That's what
first
you did the last
quarter
time. You waited
from
for a split
Egypt.
second.
You saw the percentages are
You
good.
came, you helped Simba,
Really
you
turned the
went
ball
out to
over.
your man and Simba's going because they're looking for him to shoot.
Been,
Yeah, but we still
very efficient. I don't think they would have looked for too much more than that first quarter performance there.
Once he comes out of the game, they're going to be happy. Ahab Amin, he hasn't come out yet. And you can see he's been not only difficult to face offensively, but he's been a real pest on defense.
Well, I think the strength of his play in that first quarter can be seen by the fact that Gennady is yet to get in the game. And Gennady coming in.
No, he did come in.
Oh, sorry, right at the end, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute, that's right. And Gennady is the leading scorer for Egypt coming into this one. You know, so he's played so well. I mean, Gennady hasn't been able to have any opportunity to get in, and he's going to stay on, and they'll go as the two-guard combo. It's interesting. It's a different look from Egypt. We've seen a lot of that. You know, Taufik and Amin to start, and now Gennady and Amin together.
Shusha spins. Now Marai out to Shusha. Shusha's nice release. And that takes the lead now up to 14.
And it's just smooth from Egypt. Inside, outside, penetration, kick, and they knock it down.
4 3-pointers for Egypt. Bounce pass. Now Mungo Metzi. And Marai gets one of the many rebounds he'll collect today. Shusha again has his feet set.
Thought about it too long, didn't have the rhythm.
And a little bit of a break for Zimbabwe. And where are you going with Wall?
Yeah.
That was Chitsende. Arabi goes inside again. And charge has been called.
Very good job from Buildup because he was up against it. Arabi had it so deep in the lane. And if you're Zimbabwe or if you're Chikoko, let's have a look. Wasn't too much there. I think Chikoko's got to do a better job, as I said, of being the go-to guy. So when he gets it in the low post, if he kicks it out, he's got to kick it out for somebody else to get a shot, not for somebody else to then have to make a move. And he's got to do more of that. He's got to be more aggressive.
So another foul called on Arabi.
And first quarter, Chikoko scoreless, 1 assist. For me, if he's not scoring, it's because he's got a lot of assists because Egypt have had to come, double him, get it out of his hands. And he hasn't really done anything. He's just playing that role. You know, he'll take a shot if he's open. If not, he'll be part of the offense. I think he has to be the offense.
Sometimes Zimbabwe can be a little impatient, though, in their offense.
Absolutely.
And they need to recognize that he needs to be the man.
Yeah.
Well, Amin has finally come out. Ahmed El Maraji has come into the game, another shooting guard. And they've called a jump ball there. So let's see, number 5 has come in. Excuse me, number 15 has come in. Shivan Gagne, there you go. So they call that a jump, and Zimbabwe will retain possession. Shivan Gagne now. The veteran puts it up. Well, he was sort of a revelation yesterday. He's 30 years of age, but he hadn't played in the previous 2 games. And now he comes in and gives something immediately offensively. And good defense. They seem pretty intent on going to Arabi.
Yeah, I don't know whether they're going to they're trying to go at Chikoko perhaps, knowing how key he is.
Chikoko doesn't need to go one-on-one here. And he tries to do too much, and El Gamal takes it away. Or sorry, Gennady takes it away. And Marai misses. Arabi gets it back, puts it up quickly, takes it back out. Gennady, that's off. Mungomezi shielded Urabi from the ball, so it goes back to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe can get a couple stops and get a couple baskets. They're right where they want to be.
And again, the problem is that the last offense summed up Chikoko really. She's not used to that being the go-to guy, having the responsibility of the offense.
Well, he just simply cannot go one-on-one. Or in that case, 1-on-5. And now Chiksindi's been pretty shaky also since he's entered the game. It's been his worst performance. Duncan Shinje, number 10, is coming in for Zimbabwe, and he's guarding Shusha. Now, here's Shusha, got the screen. Maraji puts the ball on the deck, and good defense. Was that Mungomezi that forced it out of his hands? This is the player that I like. Hands it off to Mungomezi. Now he's in the same situation, so now he's going to take the jumper, and if he's got that in his repertoire, he might as well go to that rather than trying to go 1-on-5.
They've got to find a way to get him touches with space, or get him touches where there's a threat around him.
And Mariah, just a little bit of a pump fake. Sivanganye fouled, so the three-point play opportunity. He almost stepped out of bounds.
He's just so patient around the ring, Mariah. A lot of times, big guys will get it, they'll rush, get rid of it quickly, worried about getting their shot blocked. He's undersized, but he's just got that rare ability to find space where there isn't really any. He uses step-throughs, and he has very good footwork indeed.
And he also played college basketball in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So Stephen Gagne drives in, passes out to Mungomezi for three. And good rebound from Makurure, and he draws the foul. No, that's Shinje, Duncan Shinje. So alert play. He used the pump fake as well.
Yeah.
And gets that 3 points right back. It's back to a 9-point game.
Solid adjustments from Zimbabwe, especially on this defensive end.
And Muyumbo's come back in to run the point for Zimbabwe. We'll see if he's settled down a little bit. And Rami Abdallah, the air ball, that goes right to Asim Marai.
That's the problem. Guy's got to do a better job. He gives a thumbs up to his coach, says it's his fault. Look, it's difficult to rebound the air balls because you don't expect them. It kind of comes quickly. That may have been what caught him, but you've got to know when you're guarding Mariah, his bread and butter is offensive rebound.
Yep.
He was kept relatively quiet by Marley, wasn't he? And Tangata especially did a very good job on him.
Oh, that's two, and again, rebound bounces out. And shot clock isn't running. I think the referees by this point of the tournament have gotten used to looking up at the game clock. Sorry, the shot clock. There's been a tendency not to switch it on in time.
Two of these three officials were involved in the tough one last night, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Angola, Senegal game that went down to the wire. 0.2 of a second left.
Gennady hits the three-pointer.
Again, you've got to know the scout. Gennady's been lights out in the tournament, hasn't he, until this point. He's right around 50% from three, averaging 10 a game. You can't allow him to just set the feet like that.
Yeah, this is like a free throw for him.
Yeah. Full pick and roll defense from Zimbabwe that time. He chips into a zone. This is what unlocked Zimbabwe in some of their earlier games.
Oh, beautiful pass from Chikoko, but Gennady snuck in there and took it away. Look at that. know, people think it's a big man's game all the time, but look at how Gennady plays. There's a place out there, if you know how to play basketball, for everybody. Gennady is not really that big. He's 6 feet, 1.84 meters in height.
First time we've seen zone from Egypt, and Zimbabwe have just struggled. If you remember way back to the first game against Algeria, they went in at halftime playing extremely well. You know, very positive signs, and Algeria used the zone in the second half. That's when it all changed. Cape Verde used the zone more than we've ever seen from them against Zimbabwe as well to get the win.
So now we have a foul on Zimbabwe trying to box out to get the rebound. And that's a good call. So Chikoko and Mungometsi come out of the game, so two of the better players. So this could be a tricky time here for Zimbabwe.
A lot smaller without Chikoko on the floor.
Well, Shusha has his feet set, and Zimbabwe come down with the rebound.
Got lucky because Abdallah probably had a good look around the ring.
He passed it out.
Yeah, breakdown on the screen once again.
Shinje fell down after the three, and Muyombo picks up the foul.
Mistake after mistake for Zimbabwe. This is not the way to get back into a game. We've seen missed box outs, we've seen quick shots, and now fouls. You know, and fouls, yeah, sometimes you have to commit, but that situation there is just no need. Shusha's outside the lane, he's jumped into the air, and he's trying to find a pass. You've got to understand, you know, time, score, situation if you're Muyombo.
Shusha's second free throw is good. So he goes 1 for 2.
Press from Egypt. So drop back into the zone after this as well. And this is going to be the challenge for Zimbabwe.
Muyombo passes to Shinje now inside the banda. Well, I thought he had waited too long there, but Marai didn't really jump up to try to block it.
Abdallah fell, but better offense from Zimbabwe. They got a reversal and then went inside.
There's Marai. He's decided he's going to take it all the way and misses. Nice pass. Shivinganye, though, off target, and here's Amir Gindi come in to play one of the guard spots. It's just deceptive, isn't it? When he gets inside, doesn't look, he makes it, you know, he goes up to the trees sometimes. And Shivinganye had the ball taken away. Good hustle again by Gennady.
You need a timeout here if you're Zimbabwe. Egypt starting to spurt.
El Miraji, and fortunately didn't get to one of the big shooters. 14-point lead. Egypt trying to deliver the knockout punch. Banda passes back out. That was good. Shinji sets inside. Rami Abdallah, he just turns and shoots. And their three-point shooting is just absolutely killing Zimbabwe right now. So Zimbabwe call a timeout. They're trailing it 39-22 against Egypt here in the first half of the first game in the round of 16.
Well, they had their problems before, and now Egypt have dropped into the zone. They're getting even bigger. You know, the zone offense of Zimbabwe has not been effective, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better as this tournament's gone on. Shooting 1 for 6 for 3 doesn't help against a defense which is packed in, but also the play of the bigs and their movement for Zimbabwe doesn't help the three-point shooting. when the ball goes into the short corner, into sort of the low post, they've got a man standing in the foul line. And by leaving him there, what it means is the defense can stay very high, and they can therefore challenge three-point shots. That player has to find a way to cut to the ring. You know, if he cuts to the ring, defenders have to go with him. Because if they don't, he's open. Usually they go with him, and what they'll do is free up somebody on the perimeter to be able to get a shot. And in Zimbabwe, too often, they go inside off the first pass, the defense is all set, and then it's difficult for them to get it back out again. I think reverse it, go inside to Chikoko, have cutters and players spotting up, and they'll get more success.
Chikoko's had his breather, so he's back out there.
And positive for Zimbabwe in that respect is he hasn't picked up any fouls yet.
Yep. He's probably learned that, you know, you don't want to give away the cheap ones because you'll get one or two marginal ones called against you. Chinsinde just is not the same player today, and clearly the ankle is a problem. Maybe Muyombo is the better option. Muyombo did play better. I felt like when he was just in, so he'd improved a little bit. Now Gindi gets inside. And rebound by Shinjay. Now Shinjay has it. Banda. Oh, that was a very high degree of difficulty with what Banda was trying to do. El Gamal has come back in, and his shot is no good. And Amir Gindi knocks it away and gets it to Marai, and now he has an N1. Egypt just a little too good for Zimbabwe.
That's great tenacity by Gindi in there. Again, just making plays. That's what he does, isn't it? From Egypt, finds a way to finish around the ring. He can hit the three. And now causing a nuisance on the offensive glass as well.
The only aspect of Egypt's game that isn't working right now is their free throw shooting. They're 5 of 11. But when you're up by 19 points, you're not really worried too much about that, at least in this game.
It's better movement, better cutters.
Chikoko, boy, he was underneath on the other side of the backboard and made that.
Much better from Zimbabwe. And it was in the low post. Movement meant the help wasn't as easy. That's why Chikoko had that little bit of extra space.
Now, Amir Gindi, another three-pointer. I mean, everybody's throwing them in for Egypt. 7 of 19.
Gindi is just a playmaker. Like, he makes plays when he is on the floor.
And there he is making another one. He's going to take it all the way and hands it back to Marai unselfishly. So Marai's going to have to buy him dinner one night. The lead is ballooned to 22 points. Yeah, you can see that Chinsinde, simply the point guard right now, just is not the same player. He's almost kind of gimpy when he's out there dribbling.
He doesn't have that first step, does he?
And that's off.
He relies on his quickness usually.
Well, offensive rebound and put back, gets it back to 20 with 45 seconds remaining here in the first half. You have to feel a little bit for Zimbabwe, because to lose Chinsinde, for him to have the ankle problem, it really does limit them. But you have to praise Egypt. They have just been ruthless. Now, Gamal. Misses. Inside. Oh, what a move from Chikoko. It's his second straight basket. Egypt have had 6 different players hit three-pointers. As you look at Hillary Pinkerton, what do you do? I mean, yeah, you've got to guard everybody out on the perimeter.
And the thing is, they've got at least 2 more, 3 more that can make them as well.
Yeah.
Khalifa hasn't hit one. Taufik has been one of their better shooters, hasn't hit one, and El Mahdi hasn't hit one either.
The timeout on the floor, and Zimbabwe trail 46-29 with 16.7 seconds remaining. Egypt win this game. If they win it, they will go up against the winner of Angola and Central African Republic. And if I'm Angola watching this game, that makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Assuming they were to, they're not going to look past Central African Republic, but they'll be favorites in that game.
It's an intriguing quarterfinal matchup, isn't it? That loss of Angola last night really has put them in a difficult draw, a difficult route to the final now, but defending champions, 11 of the last 13 years, they've been there, they've done it before. They won't fear anybody, I'm sure. It was a better performance from them last night, even though they, two costly mistakes in the final minute. Really, we should have seen an Angolan victory.
Yeah, we really should have. A late turnover. Not much to smile about for the Zimbabwean fans, as you can see in the stands. But this Egypt team, they played at the World Cup last year just like Angola did. They played in the final 2 years ago just like Angola did. So it's going to be a rematch, in fact, of that if they go on to win and Angola beats Central African Republic. 4 seconds, 3 seconds on the shot, or the game clock, 1 second, and executed to perfection. Just a final kick in the teeth. El Gamal buries a three-pointer and gives Egypt a 20-point lead at the end of the first half.
Well, as soon as the pass was going towards him, you knew it was going in, didn't you? It's just been the way the half has gone for Egypt. Everything working for them, and it has to be said, it's not luck. They have executed a game plan to perfection, and they deserve a 20-point lead right now.
Well, the threes are falling, 8 of 21 for Egypt, and that's probably the most significant factor in the game. And also their defense has wreaked some havoc. Zimbabwe with 10 turnovers, and struggling in the backcourt with Chitsindi clearly not at his best. But all full marks to Egypt. They lead it 49-29 at halftime.
选手في مصر. الجمهور الإسماعيلية اسكندرية والزمالك. La deuxième. هدية مرة أخرى للأشقاء المصريين.
Remember, man to man. Yeah? Ball and man at all times. Working. Let's fight hard the second half. Starting from now, let's not sleep. Let's go and give it to them. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah? 1, 2, 3, team. 1, 2, 3, team.
49-29, Egypt on top of Zimbabwe here in the round of 16, the first knockout game of AfroBasket 2015. We're in Tunisia in North Africa, and it's been an exciting week that we've already lived here, and now we're kind of living our second week. And Zimbabwe has run into a team that looks focused, concentrated, determined, confident. All things are positive. The only downside, perhaps, their free throw shooting of late, not only today but before. But you know what? Today is not going to cost them. It doesn't look like. They are playing like a runaway train, up by 20 points. Really, this game will, Lloyd, if Zimbabwe can't put something together here quickly at the start of the second half, it's going to be over. Well, welcome back if you're just joining us. Egypt on top of Zimbabwe by 20 points, third quarter underway.
Well, when you're trailing the third quarter and the start of the third quarter is often key, if you can throw a punch, show them you're in the game, there's an opportunity to get back. And that's not the start. Beautiful feed from Al Gamal. And an easy two for Arabi.
Chinsinde opened the game with a three for Zimbabwe. And that was a difficult shot, to put it mildly, for Platenda Maturori. Well, the story really has been Egypt's, well, everything they've done as well, and one of them has been their three-point shooting. They've just been lights out. They've hit 8 threes in the first half, and now Shusha loses it. Amin kind of gave them that launch pad to go out and have a big game. He starts the second half on the bench.
Yeah, and that's surprising to me, but it shows you why, Coach Marai, he has faith in his bench, doesn't he? We've talked about some of the team being perhaps a little thin in their depth, but that's not the case for Egypt, and he's done a very good job getting everybody involved. Really, I would say 11 of the 12 are big players for Egypt.
Chitsindi over to Chikoko, pulls up, has to end up shooting up very high, and the rebound on the air ball with Chitsinde. So that was good. Zimbabwe to get it back to 20. Now Arabi goes in, puts it up, and misses.
Smart by Chikoko not to foul.
I wonder what the potential is of Arabi. It's interesting. No.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was reading up on him before the game. He had a good, solid year at USC, University of Southern California, his senior year. There was talk about him potentially getting drafted. It didn't happen, though. He has a great reputation as a shot blocker. He gets a piece of that one as well, I think. But perhaps just a lack of offense might be his undoing.
Well, he's certainly got a future with this Egypt national team.
It's his first appearance at senior level. He did play for the junior teams, I believe. Just looking, he played for the under-18 team, which won in 2008.
Here's Banda, gets it to, that's goaltending. Basket interference. It's great for these guys to go over to the U.S., whether they're playing college ball, high school ball, pro ball, you never know. I mean, it's a new experience, learning a different type of basketball. Up ahead now, and to Miyambo, and he off the backboard. And what was Shusha doing there? He knows that if it goes off the backboard, it's going to be goal interference. That ball may not go in.
He said start of the third quarter. If you can get on the run, Zimbabwe getting a little momentum right now.
Well, there's to Ahmed.
Come out. Came in with a big reputation to 2013 to the AfroBasket. And I have to say, I wasn't impressed.
Oh, and Banda's had such a good game, and then he just misses a layup.
Look at the spread of the floor.
Shusha from the left. Good! Egypt punish Zimbabwe, a 5-point swing, and it's back to an 18-point lead. That really is a killer for Zimbabwe to miss that, and Banda knows it. Now watch this. Shusha, having just kind of made the mistake of the goaltend, the basket interference, but makes amends with the 3 ball.
I was just saying, Alcomel came in with a reputation for 2013.
USA 119.
But he was one of the keys, really, in the poor play of the first round. Through the first round group, he had 8 points, 4 points, 4 points in the 3 games. It wasn't until they faced off against Tunisia where he exploded into life with 19. 19 points, backed up with 16 against Cape Verde. And they were his only 2 double-figure games. So, you know, he came in with a reputation of being a good player, the leader for Egypt. I wasn't overly impressed with his play, you know, as a body of work through the tournament. But he has been very good indeed here in 2015, hasn't he? You know, really has upped his game, and I think that's one of the big reasons why, you know, Egypt are playing so well.
And ball goes out of bounds. I just think they're all playing well. You know, it's an AfroBasket. It's in North Africa, so even though it's not in Egypt, it's not that far from Egypt. They've want to carry on from the momentum that they've started building 2 years ago.
We talked chemistry. Is there a more together team than Egypt? I mean, like we said, they have got probably 11 players. You know, Almagi doesn't really get into the game, even though he's played 6 minutes, which is more than Gendi, surprisingly. He, for me, is perhaps the one that's not in the rotation, but they're 11 deep, they're all together, they have great atmosphere in and around the team. It looks like a really fun environment to be a part of right now.
Oh, that was a quality move from Chikoko, but just could not finish. Yeah, a lot of interesting stories here at the AfroBasket. Egypt trying to bounce back from a difficult FIBA Basketball World Cup where they didn't win a game in the toughest of the groups. Nice pass to Banda. You know, Zimbabwe making their first appearance here at the AfroBasket. And Ahmed and block has been called on Chipsinde. All the way down the list of teams. It's just an incredible, it's an exciting tournament. Cote d'Ivoire showing up with effectively their second team because of a dispute, and yet evolving into a team now that looks capable of winning their round of 16 game and maybe even getting to the semifinals.
Yeah, and we talked that, you know, to say the first round doesn't matter, but Angola, who for me coming in, there was 4 big teams: Senegal, Angola, Tunisia, Nigeria. Now, what Angola has happened to them is by losing last night, they've now drawn the fact they've got to play Egypt. And if you're looking at Egypt as the 5th team, I mean, they've pushed themselves in as contenders with any of those other 4 as well for a podium finish. And Angola losing means they have been the team to draw them in that quarterfinal matchup.
Well, competing for the rebound goes back over. So it's going to be in the hands of Egypt here. And Khalifa joins the 3-point shooting party. Metsi out of bounds and back over to Egypt. You know, Senegal and Angola, maybe from a historical standpoint, maybe from a talent standpoint, stays out, rebound Zimbabwe. Maybe, you know, maybe they are the powerhouses of African basketball. You could throw Nigeria in there, except that they haven't won it. But Angola and Senegal have had some issues that they've had to overcome. Chemistry issues, a player being sent home from Senegal. There's been no such issue like that for Egypt. And the ball goes up and in for Zimbabwe. Back to 22 points. Khalifa hands it off, and what a play from Taufik and Khalifa in Egypt overall. That pretty much sums them up, doesn't it?
Movement, the interplay, you know, everything about them. Just so unselfish as well. Some of the other teams we see that it's a lot of dribbling, a lot of standstill play. On the offensive end is stagnant, isn't it? Egypt are never like that. Their offense just flows nicely.
You really have to, you know, as Asim Marai comes in for Ahmed, if you have to point the finger, if you have to give the credit to somebody for Egypt, I think you have to go to the head coach, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. As we said, he's got the team late, so I'm not sure of how long preparation he's got, but you know, tactically they're spot on. Their scouts are very good. He's got the team playing together. You know, you can't fault Coach Marai at all in any way at the moment.
Mugabe, Tinatinde Mugabe, the son of Zimbabwe President Robert Mugabe, turned it over there with that pass. He's in the game. And another easy basket for Egypt, and now Zimbabwe is starting to unravel.
They're just putting them to the sword right now, aren't they? Offensively, Zimbabwe chasing everything.
And Metsi with another poor pass. Taufik, long range. There's no such thing as a long three-pointer for these guys. We saw Gunati and Amin hit, you know, three-pointers that were a couple of meters behind the arc to beat Cameroon. And Mugabe couldn't even pick up the loose ball, and it goes back to Al Gamal, and he hits another three-pointer, and takes it now to a 29-point lead. This is just a good old-fashioned blowout.
Yeah.
And really, it's, you know, Zimbabwe were doing well. They were keeping it within 20, and now it's just kind of gotten away from them.
Now the third quarter started 6-2 in favor of Zimbabwe.
Yeah, they pulled to within 16.
And it's now 17-8.
Do you know where it turned around? It was when Banda was going in for a shot, could have got it to 14, missed it, ball went to the other end, three-pointer from Shusha, and that has triggered the run.
Yeah, 15-2 run.
And that's not to say that Banda's to blame, but it's just kind of coincided. Yeah.
He's not to blame, but it's his fault. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Three-point shooting, though, is ridiculous. Look at that. 60% in the third quarter.
And the key also for that, the Zimbabwe 0% for the second and third quarters. That's when Egypt have used the zone as well. So, you know, the reality is if a team's going to zone you, you're going to have to. A lot of the time at this level, if you don't shoot the ball from the perimeter, you're not beating a zone. You know, you can get it to the inside, you can rebound offensively, you can get out in transition, you can do things to help, but the reality is it's going to force you to go to the outside, and you've got to hit.
You saw Ellery Pinkerton waving away a fly, as if it's not bad enough to be getting beaten by 29 points. Now, penetration. Now back over to Gennady, the veteran. Amir Gindi. I suppose in this situation, if you're Egypt, you don't want to get into any bad habits. You don't want to lose your concentration. Angola have come out. You can see them looking on from the stands there, watching the game, wearing the red and the blue.
But the way Egypt play, I don't think they will, because they've got so many bodies. They just bring them in, don't they? The intensity of Coach Marai, when anybody makes a mistake, bam, they're out. Next guy's in.
And, you know, as you look at Brian Hoare draw the foul, what we saw last night was after probably the toughest, definitely one of the 2 toughest games that we watched. Egypt-Cameroon was a hard game. And last night, Angola-Senegal, and the way that Angola lost at the buzzer, Mancho Lopez, the Angola coach, had to go do about 8 interviews. He had to go up into the stands and speak to Angolan radio. He had to speak to journalists. And then just as he was trying to leave, Angolan TV got him again and tried to get him over here. And he was just wanting to get out of the arena because he had to come back and prepare for today's game. That was one of the downsides to losing yesterday. They have to come back and play today.
And early today because they're up next as well. So, you know, they have not had hardly any preparation for their game, Angola. That's for sure. And they did say that in the press conference, didn't they? That was one of the big negatives, the lack of preparation they're going to have.
But the plus side is they can come out, get that loss out of their system, get the game out of the way, and then have a rest day.
Yeah, especially because they played so much better yesterday. You know, they eventually, Carlos Moraes finally sort of got going in this tournament.
So there's Asim Marai. And it's great for Egyptian basketball to have such a wonderful talent, but it's even greater that really not all the attention has to be on him. They've got a lot of players now that are going to be making the headlines here with the performance they've been having. They are closing in on a spot in the quarterfinals. And, you know, this is also interesting, Boyd, as Abdallah trips up Chikoko for the foul. Angola are watching a team right now that they're going to play. Do you see that as being, I guess that's also a plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they would watch him anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, the coaching staff will watch this game once, twice anyway. They'll be breaking down everything, and especially with a day's preparation, you know, they'll be meticulous. I don't think that Angola sitting there and watching this is going to have that much of an impact. Because in the same way, Egypt will turn around and sit and watch Angola afterwards. There's no surprises from the game before in this tournament.
Right, backs up Chikoko. Chikoko stood his ground. Both of those guys have bright futures, Chikoko and Marai. And the foul has been called. It's been called on Gunati. Watch this. Ngomezi, good move into the lane, and then the reach from Gunati. If you were starting a team, say if you're at a club and you needed a presence inside, as Amin comes back into the game for Tawfik, would you start with Chikoko or would you start with Marai?
Oh, very tough one. I mean, they're different type of players, aren't they?
I knew you were going to say that.
They are, and again, it depends on the other personnel you can get. No, it is, because if you've got great scorers around you,
yeah,
then Chikoko is a fantastic player to have. He plays better defense than Marai.
Yeah.
You know, he's more unselfish than Marai. He's more of a role player. So in that sense, if you've got great players with him, probably Chikoko. If you're looking for someone who's going to give you numbers, then Marai, without a doubt. You know, he scores, he rebounds, he does a bit of everything. He's so active. You know, if you're looking for an impact player, then Marai's your man.
Well, Mugabe just has it taken away by Gindi. Penetration to drive Chikoko. What was that? It's Indy. Into Amin. Oh, beautiful block from Chikoko. Amin outside to Gennady. 5 on the shot clock. Gindi. And a new 14 after Abdallah gets the offensive rebound. And Gindi timed his jump perfectly just to beat Chikoko. 68-40. Comes the other way, and it's Amin, and Amin hits the three-pointer. Just to remind us that he's still around. And right at the end of the third quarter, Amin gives Egypt a 71-40 lead. He's got 16 points in just 12 minutes of action.
شويه يجري في الفاست بريك وانا ما بقولكش يجري في الديفنس انا عايزك تحط
12 three-pointers.
الكوره اللي فاتت بتاعت ايهاب دي
Those continue to fall for Egypt.
لو سبقت كده وايهاب خد الكوره يا اما انت
Eventually you see
هتاخدها
the
ليا
turnovers for Zimbabwe.
يا اما حاجات كتير قوي مش هنفضل نقعد نشرحها اجري
17 turnovers now
نلعب
for
مان كبار
Zimbabwe.
عايزين نضغط من الاول علي انت هتجيب عاصم
They've had
خلاص
some
نفس
problems
التشكيل اللي موجود
in
ما
that
عدا بس
department
عاصم
for
هيطلع وهينزل
7.
مكانه علي عايزين
halftime.
نضغط ونعمل ترابات من غير ما يخش الراجل يعني لما
You
تيجي
know,
تعمل
where do you
تراب
go
على
from
السكرين،
here? Yeah, as
خلي
a
بالك الأهم
national
هو
team
مصاري.
program, it's not
محلق بس مش
something
كونتين،
that
يعني ما تبقاش تحت.
happens
لا، اطلع
immediately.
بس
It's
إيه،
rare
تحلق عليه لحد
that
ما نهجم على
you know, you could just put a group of players out
الناس
there
اللي باقيه بقى
and expect
اهم
to
واحد
win.
في
And
الملعب
you
هو
know,
11
this is the
يعني
first time
سواء
that
هو اللي
Zimbabwe,
بيعمل سكرين
even though
أو
they've
هو
played,
بعيد،
you
لازم
know, a lot of
أشوف
these
واحد
guys have
بس.
played together,
في
they've gone
بالك
through
واقف، ما
qualifying.
اعرفش الوضع
This has to be a building block.
من
And
الاول
we've
لا
seen
خلي
some
علي
countries
يمسك 11 علي انت
use opportunities at a flagship event like an AfroBasket, a FIBA America's Championship, a EuroBasket. When those opportunities come along, they use them as opportunities as like building blocks.
Yeah.
What are they going to do after this?
Absolutely. Well,
And that's the key.
I think it's been a positive start for Zimbabwe. You know, the goal number one for them was to get through qualifying to get here. You know, they've done that. They defeated South Africa to get here, which is a big, you know, a big nation, a great rivalry for them. So that's success. They've got this experience of being here. The next step for Zimbabwe is they've got to qualify again. You know, because they're not in one of these, you know, easy qualification zones. They've got to defeat South Africa to get here. So that's got to be the next one, is to use the experience of this tournament to make sure they qualify for the next one and then look to do well in 2017. Is it 2017 again, or does that change?
I think that's going to change. Or,
Yeah.
sorry, that'll be, well, the World Cup's in 2019. The Olympics are next year.
Yeah.
And
So we have zonal championships every 2 years still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they will get confidence from this result. Obviously, Abdallah drills the three-pointer. I think they've got pretty much everybody that's hit a three-pointer now, except their shooting guard El Maraji. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, only 7 players have hit threes. That's disappointing.
Taufik's letting the side down. He needs to 0 of 2.
I see Marai is probably not going to take one, and the same with Arabi.
You never know. Salah Mejri hit 2 in a game against Nigeria. If he's making them, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's possible. Here's El Maraji. Yeah, the thing is, who will be there for them in their qualifying games? Chikoko wasn't, and they were able to win against South Africa, so that was impressive.
Yeah, but you've got to expect he's not going to be either going forward, and that's a big loss for them.
But that will be the case for a lot of people.
Yep.
Here's Chikoko. And just could not quite take it inside, lost it out of bounds. misses. And a foul called on Zimbabwe. Abdallah's going to come out. So it's on Chinsinde. Taurai Chinsinde, his second. So if once Egypt go ahead and close this one out, they will either go home, put their feet up, rest, read a book, the players maybe, or the coach will have them stick around. Three-pointer, and also a foul on the three, so now El Maraji.
Offensive foul.
Oh, okay.
And a rebound, three counts. So it is 8 threes. 8 players have hit threes now.
So the pressure's off him as a shooting guard. You definitely don't want to be the guys that misses out. So now Taufik is under a little bit of pressure. Khalifa reaches over and commits the foul. And if Egypt were to beat, say, Angola or Central African Republic, they would then face Tunisia, Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, or Mali in the semifinals.
I mean, could you imagine Tunisia, Egypt semifinal?
Rematch
Right
of the
in
round
here.
of 16 game
Yeah, right in
2 years ago.
in here. Feeling it might be quite loud.
Here's a look at Zimbabwe's last basket. I mean, he's a player, isn't he? He really is. I mean, he goes to 18 points, and it's another free throw coming for the youngster. They must be over the moon with his play in Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
He just finished his freshman year, solid year. 5 starts in 33 games, 5 points a game.
Well, if they're watching this, their coach is going to be giddy, I would imagine.
He does have pedigree at junior level, though. He was MVP of the under-16 African Championships and the under-18 African Championships in his past.
Pass up ahead, and Chitsindi uses the left hand and misses. And that's the kind of day it's been for Zimbabwe. Here he is again. I mean, he was short. Just wonder which conference Texas A&M Corpus Christi are in.
Southland.
Southland, okay. Coco gets inside. So Mungo Messi is going to come back in for Chitsinde, who goes over to the bench. Taure Chitsinde.
This layup kind of sums up from Zimbabwe, and Chitsindi summed up his afternoon, hasn't it? Tawanda Chitsindi, that is. We highlighted him before as one of the key players for them. 1 of 4 from the field, 15 minutes. That ankle really has bothered his play. And he's the consistent guard, probably the best outside shooter for Zimbabwe, I would have said as well. The timing, very unfortunate.
It was unfortunate. I mean, passes to El Maraji. Nice pass into Khalifa. Back out to Gindi. He's fouled shooting the three-pointer. Mungo Messi's had better second halves. He's not really been at the races here in the second half. Some of his passes, and now he's fouled the three-point shooter. And it's like you said, Gindi just has that ability to make plays, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, you look at him, and he does not look like a basketball player at all. But he just finds a way to get it done. He's played 11 minutes. He's 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. He's now got 10 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, 0 turnovers, 3 steals, or 2 steals, excuse me.
Look at Amin hustle back and get the ball. I mean, he's just, he doesn't get tired.
No.
He's incredible. He's got some type of engine.
He's only played 16 minutes. That's the other thing about the way Egypt play, isn't it?
Abdallah, another three-pointer. You know, going back to Amin, you know, he's living in a different world. Can you imagine coming from Egypt
Texas
to go,
Twisted.
yeah, to take on teams like Abilene Christian, Central Arkansas, Houston Baptist, Incarnate Word, Lamar, McNeese State, New Orleans, Nicholls State, Northwestern State, Sam Houston State, Stephen F. Austin, Southeastern Louisiana. That must be quite an experience for him. Now the rebound, Chikoko. Right now, they're about to fall behind by 40 points. It has not been a thing of beauty here in the second half. It's hard to imagine that Zimbabwe actually closed the gap to 16 points.
Yeah, I mean, we said the start of that third quarter, and it was key. Zimbabwe had a great run, then Egypt just simply found another gear, didn't they?
Another pass, and it's blocked, but the follow, and Gindi at the right place at the right time.
Well, he does. Right place, right time.
I was thinking they weren't going to get to 100, but now I'm wondering if they'll get to 110. Baseline jumper, no good. Now Khalifa in Egypt. Another chance to run. Abdallah back outside to Amin. Now Gindi kind of loses it, gets it back. Oh, hits the cutter, Khalifa. Let go, Khalifa, let go. And they're going to call a technical.
Yeah.
As well they should.
They're claiming somebody was underneath him. There was no one in the key.
No way, no way. Come on, guys. I mean, you're up 45 anyway. It doesn't matter. Look at this.
Who's
he
underneath
hangs on
him?
here.
Yeah.
He hangs on here. You got to know the situation. And the situation is that we had about a 2-hour delay the other night.
He taps his head. I thought initially he was tapping his head to say it was a stupid play by him. I think he's tapping his head towards the referee.
No. Just unnecessary, really.
Yeah.
Chikoko for the jumper. You know, what they were saying last night before all the games, during the warm-ups, Shinji with the three, or the jumper, what they were saying was, players, please do not hang on the rims, because they were worried about what happened a few days ago when Stanley Okoye hung on the rim for Nigeria and shattered the backboard. So please, we appreciate your cooperation, Mr. Khalifa, Monsieur Khalifa. Wow, three-pointer, fouled, and Shusha guilty. I think that's not the first time he's fouled a three-point shooter in this tournament.
I don't think there was a lot of contact on this one.
Just got a hand in the face. Abdallah in the corner. Khalifa posting up. Abdallah gets it to Khalifa. He puts up another long one. And ball goes off of Chikoko. So it'll be possession for Egypt.
Let's go, Rufin. Let's go.
Pass and another foul called on Chikoko.
Even at the end of the game, I like the lineup Coach Moyer's got on the floor. It's almost players that still have something to prove. You know, Abdallah's out there. He's trying to fight for minutes. He's trying to prove that he should be playing more than he is. And now he's going to bring Ahmed out there. He's similar. You know, he got the start. He gets a start, but he doesn't play lots. You know, he's fighting for court time. And then Gennady, Taufik, they're the same. They know when the Mins plays so well, they're going to have to raise their game if they want to play.
Free throw's good, 91-56. Yambo, the point guard who started with Chitsinde nursing his ankle or foot problem. Chikoko chases it down, goes up for the two-handed rim rocker. And Rami Abdallah reaches in and commits the foul. Well, Chikoko's going to end up with a nice game statistically.
Again, a double-double once more. 16, 10 rebounds. He's just never really, you know, influenced the game, has he? As well as he's played. I said in the early going, he wasn't the go-to guy. He wasn't the man. He was just part of the team. That's what he needs to become. He's going to drop down to the Italian second division next year, which will be interesting. That'll have a lot to do with his development if he can become more than the role player.
It's interesting, you know, it's not necessarily a step back to go into the second division, is it? We've seen a lot of good players at the AfroBasket who have played in the second divisions of, I guess you'd say, quote unquote, big basketball countries. I'm not sure if Italy qualifies as that now. I guess you could probably say yes. And the penetration, the drive.
He's only young, 24. And I think the vision is he goes down for a year, you know, double-double type numbers. Like I said, gets used to being the focal point of an offense before he tries to raise his game once again. He came off that solid year this year.
At Trier.
No, not Trier.
You're talking about Chikoko.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started in Germany with Trier, and then he moved for the last 2 months to Italy.
Yeah.
Varese, wasn't it?
Yeah, Varese, that's right. And there he was playing behind, you know, great players like Larunovic. And it meant that he was just a role player.
But getting to go up against him in practice is probably not the same thing as actually getting on the court for live games. 2.5 minutes remaining. There's that man Gindi again. And Ahmed gets in. He gets the shot blocked by, who was that?
Chikoko.
It was Chikoko, not Shalvangali.
No.
It helped that he had his fellow center behind him. So that is now 6 blocks for Chikoko.
It's not far off a triple-double, is he?
Taufik
17,
is out.
10, and 6. A solid game. And one of the most impressive things as well, he's got 6 blocks and 1 foul. So he's challenged without fouling.
So that free throw makes it 92-60 here in the final couple of minutes. And maybe Egypt won't reach the 100-point mark. Maraji misses. Shusha there for the tap.
coming from behind. And fast break, El Miraji. So now it's 96-60. 5 points for El Miraji, including a three-pointer. Shusha commits the foul on the reach. Whoever plays Egypt is going to, encounter this type of stuff. Double teams. It's going to be frenetic. And I suppose if anybody wants the blueprint to know how to beat them, they could always look back at the Cameroon game, because they caused them a lot of problems.
Yeah, but Cameroon are very good defensively. I'm not sure Angola really are on that same level as a group. They're a very good team. Angola are better than Cameroon, I would say that. But
overall.
Yeah, but not as a defensive team, and that's where Egypt had their woes.
Being able to compete, to function against a really good defense. Of course, you could say that about anybody.
Yeah.
Shusha explodes to the basket, puts it up, and draws a foul. So it does look like Egypt will probably get to the 100, the century mark. Chivangaye now has 3 fouls, and Shusha's at the line. Some fans saying good foul. Like it matters at this stage, 96. Even Chikoko thought that was funny. He could hear it out there. And it makes one of two, 97-62. Chivangaye does the backup Gindi. Chikoko at the line. And now El Miraji. Here comes Egypt. Shusha for 3. Good! And they've got 100.
Shusha found the stroke, hasn't he, in this second half?
I think he wants his starting place back.
Yeah. Third 3. Even now the trap. The intensity of Egypt, they're not backing down.
So 14 points for Shusha. And he is the team's 3rd leading scorer. Gunati has come back in. Two-second differential on the game clock and shot clock. Here comes Shusha. Spin move, gets inside, puts it up, and gets another one. So he's got 16. And that's quite a finish for Shusha in Egypt. They win it 102-62 over Zimbabwe. The Egyptians, the Pharaohs, march into the quarterfinals. And Zimbabwe see their maiden AfroBasket appearance come to an end. Well, really, in many respects, statistics are insignificant in this case, but if you just want to talk about something, the 17 three-pointers for Egypt, you want to talk about the defensive pressure and never allowing Zimbabwe to feel comfortable.
Well, the first page for Zimbabwe, you shot 40% for 2, 40% for 3 on the game. You think you're in with a chance, but the disappointment for them, the 24 turnovers, the loss of Chitsindi, really, it didn't have any impact on the game, but the huge game from their superstar. I think he has established himself on this level now. Vitalis Chikoko, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 6 block shots, but it wasn't to be for Zimbabwe. They'll now go into the classification games for the positions 9 through 16. And Egypt will await the winner of this next one.
The final score 102-62. Egypt make it to the quarterfinals, beating Zimbabwe.
okay.
You like this slide? You like this slide?
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, I'll just leave 10 seconds before and 10 seconds at the end, okay? نعم آسيا، في الواقع فوز كبير جدا للمنتخب المصري، تخطى حاجز 100 نقطة. معنا للتعليق على هذا الفوز كابتن هيثم كمال، أحد عمالقة المنتخب المصري. كابتن هيثم، مبروك هذا الفوز ومبروك السلام دنك هذا الذي شاهدناه. لقطة فنية رائعة، ولكن هل ربما كان الخصم أسهل مما توقعنا؟ لا ويت سوري، ياخدونا لايف. معلش. الو. ايوه. بس على طول معايا هيثم كمال وايهاب امين، بس على طول والنبي عشان هياخدوا برد. ماشي. معلش يا ايهاب، انت مش لابس